Oh, look at the Belgium Andy guy. He watching a TikTok video again. Oh, he's so horny. He loves him long time.
You really need to ditch that voice.
I
It's not
really
cute
don't.
anymore.
I get messages all the time from people saying that they love it. They love it. Absolutely
Hello,
love
Alfred Mancock here, sir. I love that Chinese Andy fellow. He's a
Oh,
really nice guy.
Thank you very much, Alfred Mancock. Thank you for your contribution to the show.
If you ever, want a visa to the UK, just let me know, Gay marriage is now legal, We can make it happen.
Is it true? Oh, Alfred Mancock, I really like the sound of your voice. I really do. I want you to know, Ali, you started this.
Like, you guys gonna have to pay for my plastic surgery for all the fucking wrinkles I'm gonna get from frowning my face so much.
Managed to
Be
piss
quiet,
off.
dear. The men are talking now.
Yeah, men are
I
talking.
get a jade
will
stone.
conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that.
Jesus Christ.
All right. Welcome to the At Random podcast, ladies and gentlemen. So basically, dicks and vaginas. I'm here joined today by the lovely Alex, because I'll leave Ali because she's steaming still a little bit. So I'm waiting for her to calm down, and then she gets to say her thing. Hi, Alex. How you doing?
I'm good, but I'm afraid that if we wait for her to calm down, I don't think we can record for like a week. So,
Yeah, that's good. We're
she might just have to.
we're
get on
recording
with it.
every Sunday, so it's fine.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll never get an episode done because then the next time we'll piss her off again, and we'll just
Yeah.
perpetually be stuck in this loop.
All right, and of course we're joined by the very, very lovely, very attractive, awesomely make-upped female in all of Sweden, is Ali. Say hello to the people, Ali.
Hello.
Yeah, there we go. Well, the excitement is through the roof.
Like always.
Yeah, like always.
I have
But
to
it's
spend my
fine.
Sunday evening with you guys.
But
I'm
it's
going to
fine.
remind you chose this.
Chose what?
You chose you were down with this idea. Don't pull
Yeah.
out now.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we all know that at certain points in life we make stupid decisions. I can with the most certainty say that this was one of them.
This is the highlight of your week, and I know that because you told me the other day that you love these podcasts because it's the funniest, happiest time in your entire week.
Oh, Ali, that's so nice of you to say.
I never said that, Andy.
I don't believe you. I try to go with whatever sounds good in my ears, and that sounds pretty good right now.
Reality is what you want it to be, right?
Mm-hmm. It's what you make of it yourself, and I like what you said this week, Ali. Thank you for the compliment. So, how about we start this episode?
Sure. What are we doing?
What we're doing actually something very near and dear to my heart, because I've talked about a few times about the fact that I enjoy weird fucking shit, and I found the weirdest shit that I haven't found yet. Because here's the thing. If you research into aliens, if you research into the unknown and blah, 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 and all that weird shit, it's hard for you to be somewhat surprised by something, I guess. But the world has proven me wrong once again. I am not finished learning, apparently, because I found something very interesting.
And what might that be, Andy?
That might be a talking animal that has been researched and has been found. To this day, they're still wondering what the fuck happened there. Basically, we're going to talk about the Isle of Man on this episode. But
Cool.
a very special place on the Isle of Man. Something that's called by the way, if there's people out there listening from the Isle of Man or whatever, which is probably not, but still, if I mispronounce anything on this episode, I would say I'm sorry, but I really don't give a fuck. So, there you go, alright? It's something that's called Dorlish Caution. Yeah, that's how it's written anyway, so... But today we're... yeah.
Can you go back? Who's fucking professional over here with his ding-ding going off?
It was like on silent, but...
Oh, is Mr. on your phone? Wait, did I put my on? Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine.
I was listening. I know what he said.
Yeah, but I got distracted, okay?
It's not my fault you have like the attention span of a fucking cockroach or something.
We did discover in the Mars episode that cockroaches are pretty fucking sweet.
That's cool. That's true.
Because they grow in space.
And they kick the shit out of the Earth ones.
Yeah, of course.
And you look like an alien to me.
Well, anyway, Dorlish Garson. This might be a long-ass episode, by the way. There's a lot of information here to cover, so please bear with me. We're going to talk about Gef the Talking Mongoose. And it all began in the autumn of 1931, so a little bit after the war. Everybody was recuperating, but people were back in their swing a little bit. There was an isolated hilltop farmstead on the Isle of Man known as Dorlish Caution. The farm was home to 60-year-old Jim Irving and his wife Margaret. Also living there was their 12-year-old daughter. I have no idea how to pronounce her name, but it's written out as Voiry. Don't know why that was a chosen thing they did when their baby was born, but apparently they wanted to.
A lot of gin after the war affected the brain.
I just think this was an asshole dad who wanted to give his daughter a hard life, but just from the get-go.
Yeah, just make it sound like an STD from the start.
Yeah, it's Voirrey. So Voiry. Voiry. Yeah, it's very strange. Let's go with Voiry. I like that. Now, Jim had been a traveling salesman before taking up farming in his retirement. The farm was not a success. Productivity was dropping and the family struggled to make ends meet. They had no electricity, no phone, no radio. Their nearest neighbors lived a mile away. Anyway, one dull September evening, the family heard inexplicably blowing, spitting, and growling. Now, the sounds were coming from behind a wooden panel lining the farmhouse wall. So they had a little farmhouse, and behind that walls there was scuffling, which isn't weird in a farm setting, I guess. I mean, you get rats, and this is
like
basically
1930s or whatever.
Yeah. There's no repellents. If you didn't have a cat and you had a bunch of rats, basically you're fucked. But that's exactly what Jim thought. They thought it was a rat to blame and tried in vain to drive it from its lair. Now, the strange noises persisted. Over the following days, Jim set traps, laid down poison, but to no avail. Now, in desperation, he even tried to flush the intruder out by growling like a dog. So, pretending like a dog, using animal noise. You don't have any fucking money,
Yeah.
Everything's going to shit on the farm. Gotta do something. Let's growl like a dog. But here's the weird thing. He growled towards the wall, and it growled back at him. Now, the elusive creature proved to be a talented mimic. It repeated the imitations Jim was doing towards it. Now, after a while, Jim got sort of weirded out by this and started doing different sounds, like birds and what was it? There were other animals that he was doing.
Sheep, pigs, cows.
Yeah, various animals and birds, basically. Now, soon he had only to name an animal, and it would promptly respond with the appropriate imitation of it. At other times, it made a gurgling sound like a baby attempting to form its first words. After a while after that, it began to talk. So, at this point, Jim didn't see anything. He just heard, and after a long time of trying to figure out what it was, he basically discovered that whatever was living in his wall was responding to what he was saying. Now, by way of experiment, Voiri, at this point, asked the creature to repeat some nursery rhymes. It obliged in a clear and very squeaky voice, and soon it was speaking freely. It introduced itself as Gef, written G-E-F, but pronounced as G-E-F-F, and claimed to be an extra clever mongoose born in Delhi, India in 1852. So which was basically 80 years before that. Yeah.
Dude, were you like taking shrooms this week or anything?
I'm always taking shrooms. I'm always taking shrooms. It's okay. It's fine.
Is Gef your penis?
Now, a neighboring farmer had actually imported mongoose to the island 20 years earlier, hoping to curb the local rabbit population. So the fact that there was a mongoose there wasn't the weirdest fucking thing for that region. Now, Gef was soon holding regular conversations with both Voiri and her father.
But this was only through the wall?
No, well, no, it's 1931, so it's after the war.
No, the wall.
Oh, yeah,
they're still talking through the wall. They're not actually... The mongoose didn't walk up to them and said, "Sup, bitch?"
Not yet, because it was very shy in the beginning. Now, he was soon holding regular conversations with the daughter and the father, and he seemed less friendly towards Voiri's mother, Margaret. He began nesting in a boxed partition in Voiri's room, which the family dubbed Gef's sanctum. Although Jim and Margaret both caught brief glimpses of Gef, only Voiri was allowed to look at him directly. She described him as being the size of a small rat with yellowish fur, a flat snout like a hedgehog, and a long bushy tail. This is very cute.
This sounds like an animal version of Joseph Smith. Only I can read the golden tablets or in the hat.
Oh, yeah,
this mongoose is like, only Voiri can see me.
The Book of
Mormon
else. Yeah. Well,
actually,
this was only the beginning. Gef is going to come out more often after that. He's even going to allow people to investigate him, which is the fucking weirdest thing. This is why there's written recollections of meeting him. Yeah, you'll see. Now, there were a few habits that Gef had, and Gef soon became one of the family. Now, during the day, he would roam the island, riding on the back axles of buses and cars and shit like that. And in the evening, he would return home to share news and gossip he had picked up on his travel. Sometimes he would also read out items from the local newspaper. When he grew tired of chat, he would call out, "Vanished!" and make himself scarce, which is the fucking coolest thing. I mean, I want one of these. It announces, Gef announced his presence by calling either, this is a quote from Jim, by the way. It announces its presence by calling either myself or my wife by our Christian names, Jim Irving wrote. Its hearing powers are phenomenal. Phenomenal. That's the word. Now, it is no use to us whispering. It detects the whispers 15 to 20 feet away. Tells you that you are whispering and repeats exactly what you said. So if you're saying anything bad about Gef is gonna be fucking pissed.
What the fuck?
Like a fucking gremlin mongoose, like E.T. wizard thing.
By the way, I'm gonna share pictures with you guys on the chat after this, because
please tell me they dressed him up in like a suit and a monocle and a top hat.
No. Would be
Gef
so
the gentleman,
cool.
just roaming the town.
You know, if there's ever a mongoose that needs a suit and tie, this is the one. I mean, come on.
Exactly.
Now, Gef would often bring rabbits home for Margaret to cook that he apparently strangled with his forepaws, as so he said. Okay. Now, in return, he was given tidbits such as biscuits, sweets, and chocolates. He was also fond of bacon and sausages. I mean, how cool can you get, right?
Who isn't?
Yeah. The food would be left out for him on the cross beams near the ceiling. So there was a little shack in the farmhouse, and he lived on top of that. And there were some cross beams that connected to them. They left it on the cross beams, and so he could get the food. And he would sneak out and snatch it when no one was looking. All right, Gef enjoyed singing as much as talking. His favorite tune was Carolina Moon. If you want to know what that's what, just go on YouTube and find out, people. Now, he would croon along to the gramophone. I mean, come on. It also said here, sometimes he would bounce a rubber ball up and down in time to the music instead. So instead of singing, he would get a rubber ball and just like bounce it to the beat of the music. He could also sing the Manx national anthem, several hymns, and some fragments of a Spanish folk song as well. Now, on one occasion, he rather offended Voiry's mother by singing a lewd parody of Home on the Ranch he had picked up from a bus driver. Gef, you are no animal, scolded Margaret. Of course I'm not, retorted Gef. I'm the Holy Ghost.
I am so confused.
Yeah, it's the fucking coolest story ever. Anyway, Gef had a little bit of a temper as well. Like many a poltergeist, because he is seen as a poltergeist, because we still don't know or have a clear picture of Gef. Like many a poltergeist, or adolescent girls, I guess you could say, Gef had a short fuse. For example, he once suddenly flew into a rage when he thought Jim was taking too long opening the Morning Post. "Read it out, you fat-headed gnome!" he squeaked furiously.
Voiry seems... mongoose.
Yeah, he does. He's a funny fella. Voiry seems to be rather afraid of Gef when he first manifested. One night, even sleeping in her parents' bedroom to avoid being alone in the dark with the inhuman noises. "I'll follow her wherever you put her," Gef snapped when he overheard the family discussing this. Now, according to Jim, barricading the bedroom door with chairs and boxes only infuriated Gef further. Soon we saw the top of the door bulging in as though some terrific force were thrusted against it. But the door held. Then Jeff's queer high voice said, "I'm coming in!" A few seconds later, a heavy pot of ointment kept in the room crashed against the bedstead. Gef seemed to be hugely enjoy deliberating, provoking Voiry's parents. One night he made a nuisance of himself by sighing and groaning loudly for 30 minutes without pause before confessing, "I did it for defilement." On another occasion, Margaret found herself being pelted with stones as she walked home, and she said, "Is that you, Gef?" And he replied with, "Yes, Maggie. The witch woman, the Zulu woman, the Honolulu woman."
What the fuck?
I don't know, dude. Like,
This guy sounds
Gef,
like a fucking like old like ex-cop that used to be a good guy and now is like hitting the bottle hard and like taking it out on his family.
It's such a
Everyone's
fucking great story.
When he's not on the drink, and he's just always on the drink.
Now, Gef also delighted in throwing pebbles and sand up at windows from outside, sometimes late into the night, which is why some people said, like, "Oh, there's something going on here, like there's sand being thrown at my window." But before they could get a good look at him, Gef would already be gone. Now, how did Gef get his... Excuse me?
Cunt.
He
Gef
is a little bit of a cunt.
Sounds like a little cunt.
This is why he could be classified as a poltergeist, by the way, because everything he does isn't actually dangerous, but it's sort of, you know...
It's annoying.
It's a huge annoyance to the people who have to deal with him.
Yeah.
He could be fun, too, as he went out to get actual food for the family. Now, the Manx papers ran a series of gently mocking articles about the Dalby spook, as they dubbed Gef. which led to Voiry being teased mercilessly at school. Jeff's fame spread to the mainland after Jim Irving persuaded the psychic researcher and self-publicist Harry Price to take an interest in the case. So Jim Irving went out and found people to help his daughter to claim, like, look, this is real. This isn't bullshit. There's nothing there's nothing she's saying that's not untrue. So it's all real. But even as Jeff's notoriety grew, his visits to Irving's became fewer and farther between. By the time Price arrived to investigate in person, the marvelous mongoose was conspicuous only by his absence. In 1963, so 5 to 6 years later, Price published the results of his investigation in The Haunting of Cashin Gap, which was the name of the homestead. A modern, quote-unquote, miracle. Investigated, a slim book co-authored by journalist Richard Lambert, although Price did not explicitly accuse the Irvings of perpetrating a hoax. Neither did they validate their claims of the family. And we know that this is an actual thing because there's a picture of Voiry and Jim Irving and Richard Lambert that's been found. So we know that they indeed reached out to investigate shit. Now, soon after the Price's book was published, the Irvings left Cashin Gap for the mainland. Jeff did not follow them, nor did he introduce himself to the new owner, Mr. Graham. Intriguingly, in 1947, so this would be around 16 years after the facts, Graham trapped and killed a strange-looking animal that seemed to be neither ferret, stoat, nor weasel. It answers to all description, the puzzled farmer told the local press. Eventually, Graham, too, left Cashin Gap, and the farmhouse was demolished. And in 1970, a reporter from Fate magazine managed to track Voiry down to interview her about the strange childhood experiences. She proved reluctant to discuss her former life with Jeff. Yes, there was a little animal who talked and did all those things there, she admitted. He said he was a mongoose and we should call him Jeff, but I do wish he had let us alone.
Is she schizophrenic by any
I have no
chance?
idea. Nah. But, alright, so let's go on because there's a lot of fucking investigation gone into this story. In early 1932, Jim Irving wrote the famed psychic reader Harry Price, detailing, so this is all about Price's research, by the way, detailing Jeff's antics and to investigate him. At the time, Price was too busy working on other cases to investigate in person, so he sent a friend, which was called Captain James MacDonald, and he had to go to the homestead. MacDonald arrived at the farmhouse on February 26, and he wrote in his report to Price, "On my first day, the Irving showed me cracks in the farmhouse walls, where they said the mongoose spied on visitors. I was there till midnight, but the mongoose was silent. As I was leaving to go, a voice screamed, 'Who is that bloody man?' Irving gripped my arm. 'That's the animal,' he said." So, in the first reports that were ever investigated on that property, there was a squeaky voice that yelled out and said something, though it was just that. Now, Jeff had obviously taken an instant dislike to MacDonald. "I've been looking at the man, and I don't like him," he told Jim. "He does not believe in me. He's a doubter." The next afternoon, the captain was taking tea with the family when a large needle suddenly ricocheted off the teapot. Jim promptly remarked that Jeff was always throwing things at us. The captain later heard shrill screams and knockings all over the house, followed by a heavy fall in Voiry's room. He ran upstairs to find that a chair left on top of Jeff's sanctums had been pushed onto the floor. That evening, MacDonald overheard Miss Irving talking to Jeff upstairs in Voiry's room. "Won't you come down? I believe in you," he called up. No, I don't mean to stay long," shrieked Jeff. "I don't like you." Undeterred, MacDonald crept quietly up the stairs, hoping to catch the mongoose by surprise. To his chagrin, he slipped on a loose thread and tumbled nosily back down. "He's coming, the dirty old sleech," yelled Jeff, and promptly fled. It was the last Captain heard from him during his visit. Now, after that, just nothing else happened. They didn't hear or find anything else. But in 1935, after the whole shebang with the school in Voiry's life, she was teased and she had Harry Price did go. And now, Captain MacDonald paid another visit to the Irvings. Once again, he was frustrated in his attempts to meet Jeff. However, he did hear him speak and was giving a sample of his hair, which was investigated. I'll talk about that after this. Harry Price was sufficiently intrigued by MacDonald's report to finally visit the island himself. Jeff was none too pleased when he heard that Price was coming. "I like Captain MacDonald, but not Harry Price." So this is typical poltergeist behavior, by the way. It's just saying shit to get your what you want. Because first, Captain MacDonald is an asshole, I don't like you, blah, 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 blah. Now, Price is coming to investigate, and he doesn't like Price, But MacDonald is fine. So, he's the man who puts the kibosh on the spirits. Don't know what it said, but apparently that was something he said. Now, Price arrived at Cashin's Gap on the evening of July 30, 1935. He was accompanied by the journalist Richard Lambert, the guy from the picture, who was also an editor for the BBC magazine The Listener. "I wanted a witness in case Jeff should put in an appearance," Price explained on his autobiography. By the way, if you want to find that autobiography, it's Confessions of a Ghost Hunter, but sadly it turned out that no witness was needed since Jeff stubbornly refused to materialize. The family was heartbroken at Jeff's continued absence. Mrs. Irving was convinced that the mongoose was still about the house, probably listening to every word we were saying. She addressed a few words to him in hope that he would that her appeal would touch a sympathetic chord somewhere, but there was no response. And then I addressed a little speech to 4 walls of the room, hoping Jeff would hear me. I pointed out that we had come a long way on his account, that we were entitled to some form of manifestations. A few words, a little laugh, a scream, a squeak, or just a simple scratch behind the paneling. I even invited him to throw something at me, but all to no purpose. Now, there is a picture of Lambert again on the homestead, so we know that they did investigate. There is a picture of Lambert, and he's pointing to a break in his sod hedge where Jeff is alleged to leave the rabbits to kill. So the place where he put the rabbits to eat. Yep. Mm-hmm. So he's pointing at that, and it's basically, So here's the weird. Yeah.
Sorry, can I just quickly intervene? So this is it's not an actual animal. It's a poltergeist, but that is posing as an animal.
From what I gathered, I think there would be a sort of animalistic possession, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. Because I was just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
But that's basically what it was. I mean, there was a guy not too far from that homestead who imported mongoose to get their...
Yeah, like, you said that. They are mongoose on the island, but... Yeah.
So, this is all speculation. I mean,
of course.
It could be anything. It could be a very smart animal. Maybe it's something from a different dimension. Maybe it's an animal that got possessed by something. Like, we don't know. If
okay. I just wanted to clear that up because I was getting sidetracked trying to figure something out in my head.
No, yeah. Well, look, don't. It's probably the easiest fucking thing to do here. Like, nobody knows what it is. It's still under investigation to this day. Now...
But you said there were evidence.
Yeah, the hair from the mongoose, which we're going to reach.
Okay,
we're going to reach that. So we're
Hold your horses, Batman.
Yeah. Or your mongoose. Now, you could say, like, oh, this family is lying. That's all bullshit and blah, 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 blah. The Irvings are described by Price. All right? The Irvings were kindness personified and did everything for us except produce Gef. However, Mr. Irving personally conducted us over the house and pointed out Gef's haunts. We saw numerous peepholes, cracks through which Gef threw things at doubting quote-unquote visitors, squint holes through which a mongoose could basically fit through. He would watch the Irvings from there and interrupt the conversation with like rude comments and nasty remarks and stuff like that. We saw the runs behind the paneling by means of which Gef can skip unseen from room to another room, upstairs or down. In Voiry's room, we were shown Gef's sanctum, really a boxed partition, on top of which Gef dances to the gramophone and bounces his favorite ball. About midnight, we decided that Gef had no intention of coming into the open and that we better go home. We had spent many pleasant hours under the hospitable roof of the Irvings' farmstead, but we could not determine whether in our role of investigators we had taken part in a farce or a tragedy. Now, once Princeton Lambert had left, Gef promptly reappeared. He told Jim that he had taken a few days' holiday and had refused to perform for Harry Price since he was considered him to be a doubter. Now, however, he did agree to make some plasticine impression of his paws and teeth, which were later forwarded to Price. Price and Lambert subsequently co-authored a short book about the case entitled The Haunting of Cashin's Gap, A Modern Miracle Investigated. While the book remained cautiously neutral, Price's private correspondence apparently suggested that he considered the whole affair a hoax. So
this just sounds like the daughter or something, like doing a voice. Maybe the animal was real, but the kid was just like, oh.
I think one of the it sort of reminded me of that girl that was able to throw her voice. There was once a haunting of a girl, and she was able to throw her voice in such a peculiar way that you would think two people at the same time were talking. And she faked the possession with that. And it sort of reminded me with that. But there's so many fun things here that we still need to go through. Mm-hmm. Now, somebody named Fodor went to investigate.
Fuck, is this guy from Lord of the Rings?
Exactly, man. That's the only thing that I could think of as well.
What fucking name is that?
Now, Harry Price was not the only physics researcher to visit Cashin's Gap, and also hot on Gef's trail was Nandor Fodor, research officer of the International Institute for Psychical Research. So basically, the International Institute of Nerds, which I would gladly be a part of. Yeah. So Fodor was heavily influenced by theories of Freud, and later became a practicing psychoanalyst. He pioneered a now popular theory that poltergeists are not disembodied spirits, but manifestations of conflicts within the subconscious mind. In some yet unknown manner, a part of you may refuse to be confined within your body. He explained in 1948 magazine's article, I Psychoanalyzed Ghosts. It may perform your unconscious desires even though you think you have nothing to do with it. When this happens, you have a poltergeist. This is a theory that's out there with people who believe in ghosts and poltergeists and all that. Now, usually... Excuse me?
No, I just said,
Okay. Usually this occurs in adolescence, which is true because... as we all know, kids are more viable to see a ghost and to feel like spirits and all that. That's why people, sometimes your kid is laughing at a wall and nothing is there, and you're like, oh, fuck, scared. Or, kids say the weirdest things, and I do believe that they're somewhat closer and new
more receptive.
Yeah, I guess so. If you doubt that, you could basically... There's an image online that you can find. And if you show it to an adult, he'll definitely say that it's two people fucking. The same image shown to somebody under the age of 6, I think. 9 or 6, it's something like that. Like under a certain age, if you show that image to them, they'll see dolphins. And an adult will actually have to look for the dolphins before he actually finds them. It's because your brain is triggered, wired differently. So there may be something to that for the people that believe in ghosts. There may be something to that theory that there would, in fact, be something seen by a kid that's not seen by an adult. All right. So, Fodor dismisses the fraud theory. Fodor stayed at Cashin's Gap for a week without seeing so much as a whisker of Gef. However, he put this time to good use, interviewing both the Irving family and the locals, and came away convinced that the strange tales he heard were true. That something, quote unquote, which is called Gef, exists and talked. We're not talking about a mongoose here. We're talking about something exists. It has a voice, because if it is a spirit and it manifests itself, it could basically be whatever it fucking would want to be, I would assume. Yeah. Now, he wrote in an essay originally published in 1938 and reproduced in 1952 in a book, Haunted People, the story of the poltergeist down the centuries. But as to what it is, opinions may differ. Once we step into the marvelous reason and logic give us no bearings, Fodor stated that he found the Irving sincere, frank, and simple, and that deliberate deception on the part of the whole family cannot be entertained as a solution of the mystery. So basically, he's telling people, look,
they're too dumb to do this.
Yeah. He's a psychoanalyst. He's a genuine fucking psychoanalyst. So if they were bullshitting, he would probably be the guy to say, well, here are my findings.
Did he analyze the kid, though? Liars. Maybe the kid, the parents were 100%
the entire family was under investigation. And not only did he leave it there, the Irvings were telling him, he's going into town and he's picking up gossip from people and blah, 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 blah. So Fodor actually went as far as to go into town and ask people what's your experience with this situation? And they weren't able to explain it. So he thought okay, there might be something to it. There is something that's called Gef, and it's fucking with people. Now, the charge of ventriloquism is best answered by the fact that Gef has been heard when each member of the family has been alternately eliminated. It's sufficient to spend a day at Dorlischkaschen, which is a different name for the same farmstead, to know that under their conditions of living, it would be impossible to carry on a ventriloquist imposition over a period of years. All right? So this is something else that he,
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
He looked into.
He looked into ventriloquism. He looked all that shit. Now, he also dismissed the poltergeist theory. It's not a fraud. Then might Gef be a poltergeist or spiritual entity? Fodor thought no, for 3 reasons. None of the family members were psychic, so none of them had any former way of like dealing with ghosts or contacting ghosts or whatever. There's nothing there. Gef exhibited no truly supernormal powers or knowledge, despite occasionally giving the impression that he did. Gef had been seen, at this point, photographed, which we're going to talk about, and touched. And he consistently appeared in the guise of a small, furry animal. And this, incidentally, he differed from Jim Irving, who considered Gef to be a spirit and in animal form.
Yeah.
You know. Poltergeists are always invisible, Fodor explained. Gef never claims to be without an animal form. He eats, drinks, sleeps. He leaves his teeth marks in the butter, in the larder, and in the fat of the bacon. He scratches rabbits. He catches rabbits and performs various other services for the family. Poltergeists are an untouchable something. Like, he can't touch it. It's just there.
It's
Gef
not
wasn't.
there.
Yeah,
It doesn't
Gef
have a
was-
physical form.
Yeah, exactly. Gef, in his way, was an asset to the family.
Yeah.
Poltergeist also disturbances usually begin just before a young girl or boy, which I've said before, in the house reaches the age of puberty. This is the point where like the switch is made from dolphin to couple fucking. Now, the disturbances die out soon after the critical period. Gef has not faded out. He's not gone. He's still as strong there as ever when Fodor got there. He grows stronger than ever, and he is visibly outgrowing the original affection which bound him to Voirie Irving, the young daughter of the house. Now, Fodor's original theory of Gef, what was that? I found it, and I thought it was fucking weird and brilliant at the same time. He said like this. If not fraud or poltergeist, then might Gef be exactly what he claimed to be? A little extra clever mongoose. Fodor thought that he might indeed. All the probabilities are against it, but all the evidence is for it, he wrote. He showed himself as an animal. He had himself photographed as an animal. He has had the abnormal hearing, eyesight, and suspiciousness of an animal. So everything indicates he has animalistic behavior. Remarkable animals are known to have existed before Gef. The Eberfeld horses could extract cube roots and communicate thoughts by striking in code with their hooves. You can find that. That's an actual fucking thing. Dogs have been taught to read and spell. It's not a lie. I mean, I know dogs with buttons that know that if they want to go out, there's a button that says out, and they're able to. So it's like, for an animal to be able to communicate, it's not that weird. It's just a big step from being able to push button to actually throwing your voice. But again, there are animals out there that are able to do this. Let's not forget parrots.
Yeah, mimic voices. But there's a difference between mimicking a noise and creating.
And thinking and understanding language.
But if you look back at that, it started out with mimicking, which is basically what birds do as well. They mimic a certain word, and all of a sudden they link a meaning for that word to the word that they're mimicking. And so that word is then being used to speak. A lot of, like, this is seen in birds more than a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Then there's other things like, is it a mongoose vocal
the vocal
anatomy
box
even capable of mimicking human speech?
Yeah, well, if you're talking about a normal mongoose, but clearly this must be like an extra clever mongoose.
Hybrid. It's a chimera mongoose.
Yeah.
Human mongoose.
Would be so cool. No.
It must be some. It's not a regular mongoose because they don't have the vocal boxes that like people have or other animals. They can mimic human speech.
Tucker from Full Metal Alchemist
And plus,
being at
shut
work
up,
here.
Alexander! Don't traumatize me more.
Well, and plus we're going out of the assumption that it's an actual mongoose. It's said that it's resembled a mongoose.
Yeah.
We don't know if it is a mongoose. Now, Fodor also said, do I believe in him? I have examined the evidence. I have tried all the possible solutions I could think of. None of them answers the case. All the evidence is in favor of Jess being a talking animal. I haven't seen him, didn't talk to me. He claimed to be an animal. I cannot disprove that claim. Period. Which I found an interesting approach, because usually when you send in a ghost team or a ghost hunter, they're projecting their own fucking visions of that situation onto the viewer. I fucking hate that. I love the fact that he said, like, look, all right, little guy told me, or somebody else, he's a critter. I've seen the tooth mark. I've seen the holes in which he crawls. I've seen what he leaves behind. I've seen the place where he puts the rabbits. You know what? All the evidence points towards the fact that he's real, because even if I go into town, people claim to have seen him. So here's the thing. I have no evidence, but I'm not saying it's not true. I think that's a fair assumption to be from an investigative point of view. I think it's a very fair. All right, so
What about the fur?
Excuse me?
Or am I jumping ahead again?
Hmm?
The fur sample they took.
Oh, yeah. You're getting a little bit ahead. We'll get into that a little bit.
Patient
a little bit later.
today.
All right, so let's get into the evidence. And just for the people at home, if it seems like there's an entire chunk of fucking thing missing right now, is because there's a fucking entire chunk of thing missing right now. we talked about ghosts and aliens for I think a good 15 minutes now. But yeah, let's get to Jeff's paw prints. And by the way, we'll tell it at the end. It's okay. Okay, so we'll get into the actual fucking evidence. Because remember, Jeff did give his paw prints and his teeth marks to be put into clay. All right, and so that was examined. Now, and there's pictures of this, by the way, which I will send after the show to everybody else here. And you will be able to see that as well, dear listener, if you know what our Discord is, which we're going to talk about at the end of the show. So stick around for that. Jeff was far more dexterous than the average mongoose. He frequently threw stones and pins at visitors and was once even seen to strike a match. He claimed to have hands as large as a big doll hands, each with 3 fingers and a thumb, an opposable thumb nonetheless. Jim Irving described Jeff's 4 feet as looking like tiny human hands with very long fingers. And if you see the fingers,
creepy.
It does look creepy. I'll show you.
It's a chimera. Someone banged a mongoose, and this came out.
Well,
and Jeff was born.
Somebody's always banging something. I mean, how did H start? Didn't H start from banging a monkey somewhere?
Yeah, something like that.
I would bet money that it was one of my ancestors, because I would be down to do that.
Ew, Andy.
So, Belgium Zoo, please call me.
Please edit that out.
No, please don't. I'm just kidding.
That's not been
kidding.
He's talking shit about his own family, not me.
It's fine if you do it to yourself.
Yeah.
That's what she said. All right. The photograph above, which is the photograph that I'm gonna send you, will show 3 paw prints made by Jeff in plasticine, together with an impression of his teeth mark. The plasticine had been supplied by Harry Price and left overnight in Jeff's sanctum in Voiry's room. It's too damn hard, complained Jeff at first. But once the plasticine had been softened up for him, he agreed to the experiment. It was hard as hell, but I did it, he announced the next day. Go on, look. Harry Price asked Reginald Pocock, great name, of the Natural History Museum to evaluate the prints. Pocock could not match them to any known animal. Any known animal is a big one here.
Chimera.
Though he conceded that one of them might have been conceivably made by a dog. There's no mammal in which there is such disparity in the size of the fore and the hind foot, because the back feet were little, like you could describe them, from what I can describe them best, I would say a cat's foot. The front paw has the fucking long ass fingers on it, which is fucking, it's weird to see that this is from the same animal. Now, I do not believe these photographs represent foot tracks at all. Most certainly, none of them was made by a mongoose. So that's the Natural History Museum.
Yeah.
But again, I'm saying, like, no known animal. We're clearly not talking about a regular animal here, if that was the case.
Yeah.
Now, the one Ali's been waiting for so goddamn long.
Yay.
Jeff's hair. The Irvings described Gef as having very soft yellow fur. One night, during Captain McDonald's final visit, he obliged, plucked out a tuft of his hair, and left them in a ball on the mantelpiece. "I pulled them from my eyebrows, and my God, did it hurt," he proclaimed. McDonald sent the hairs to Harry Price, who in turn forwarded them to naturalist F. Martin Duncan for analysis, or analysis if you want to talk normal. I have carefully examined them microscopically and compared them with the hairs of known origin, meaning, once again, known animals. Duncan wrote to Price. Now, as a result, I can very definitely state that the specimen hair never grew upon a mongoose, nor are they those of a rat, rabbit, hare, squirrel, or any other rodent. I am inclined to think that these hairs have probably been taken from a longish-haired dog or dogs. Duncan suspected that the hairs probably came from the Irvins' sheepdog, Mona. He asked Price to procure him a sample of Mona's fur when he visited Gaston's Cap. Analysis of the sample confirmed his suspicion.
There we go.
So,
Aww.
yeah. And there is a picture. This isn't bullshit, because there is a picture of Foyri with Mona. Your sample on examination is absolutely identical with the alleged mongoose hairs, he wrote. They all came from the same animal, the dog, and not from any mongoose. Price ruefully concluded that neither some person robbed Mona of portions of her fur with the idea of providing evidence from the mongoose story, or that Gef himself had clipped bits of fur of Mona and foisted them on the Irving as a specimen of his own hirsute covering. So Jim Irving later raised the matter with Gef, pointing out that Mr. Duncan thought the hairs came from the dog. He should not think, he should know, retorted Gef brusquely. He damn well does not know what I am. Now, more evidence. Photos of Gef. Gef was very, very reluctant to allow himself to be photographed, but after many failed attempts, he eventually agreed to pose for Voiry. Remember? The girl he loved. Announcing, "I will be..." What?
Sounding a bit kinky.
Yeah. Well, you gotta,
He's climbing through glory holes through the house.
Got a little mongoose loving, you know. But he announced, "I will be taken on the gate up the road." Sadly, the resulting photographs look rather more like a cat or a stuffed toy than the thin weasel-like creature habitually described by the Irvings. Now, that is being said, if you know it's a mongoose, I could see how it could be a mongoose in pictures.
Send the picture. I want to see it.
All right. Just give me a second. Yeah, and that's the last one. That's the picture. So there's 3 pictures of Gef, and those are it.
That third one looks like a fucking skunk.
Yeah. Like a skunk, cat, beaver.
All right. Okay. So, and to top this all off, so the evidence given wasn't that strong, but like it's weird that an entire fucking town would lie about something though. So we're still got that going. You got something to say, Alex?
I just think the daughter was a little cunt. She was like, think about it. She didn't want to talk to them like later on in life when she was like 50, 60, like down the line in that interview. She didn't want to talk about Gef. I don't know. I just think she was like a very skilled, and she just played a huge prank. And there probably was an animal of some sort that people did actually see.
Yeah, but remember that was retorted with the fact that at one point somebody investigated the fact that if nobody was using their own voice to mimic that of Gef, and the voice constantly came from somewhere else. It wasn't that even when Voiry was in the room, Gef was talking. So
I don't know. I just don't see.
Yeah, I know. But still, it's a very fucking unique story, and I fucking love
about
it.
Gef. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I'd like to see that too.
It's a fucking weird one.
It is a fucking weird one, but Gef was very quotable. I got some quotes here from all the things Gef said. So basically, Gef talking about himself. I am an earthbound spirit, is one thing he said. I am not a spirit. I'm a little extra clever mongoose, is something he said himself. Something that he said as well. If I were a spirit, I could not kill rabbits, is something he said as well. I am a ghost in the form of a weasel, and I shall haunt you with weird noises and clanking chains. He also said, I know who I am, but I shan't tell you. I am a freak. I have hands and I have feet, and if you saw me, you'd faint. You'd be petrified, mummified, turn into stone, or a pillar of salt. He also claimed, I'll split the atom. I am the 5th dimension. I am the 8th wonder of the world.
He thinks a lot of himself, a little more on his Gef.
Yeah, but see how he's going. Like this is typical. Poltergeist. Yeah, this is typical poltergeist behavior, going back and forward on what he is. Mm-hmm. Are you good? Yes. Are you bad? Yes. Is you dead? Blah, blah, blah. This is typical poltergeist behavior. Just leaving everybody in the dark and just feasting off of fear or whatever emotion is going on.
Yeah.
He also exclaimed, I was born near Delhi, India on June 7th, 1852. I have been shot at by Indians. I am a marsh mongoose. One of the other things he said, I am not evil. I could be if I wanted. You don't know what damage or harm I could do if I were roused. I could kill you all, but I won't. And after being asked where he would go when he died, he exclaimed, to hell! To the land of mist. So apparently mongoose go to the land of mist if they die.
Stay with me on this one. Do you think Gef was the creator, the first ever Indian to ask for Bob's and Vagine? He started it all.
My name is Gef.
My name is Gef. Bob's and Vagine.
All right, so Gef on Life with the Irvings has been quoted as saying, I have been to nicer homes than this. Carpets, pianos, satin covers on polished tables. I'm going back there.
I mean, these people have fucking holes in all of their walls, apparently. Like, it's like a glory hole, like, orgy room or something.
Just be fucking happy you have a fucking roof over your head.
There's people feeding him, and he's just like, fuck you, your house is shit.
just walking out, walking backwards into his holes with his middle fingers just flipped up.
No wonders why your farm's fucking going broke, bitch. Fuck you.
He's also quoted as saying about the family, I have 3 attractions. I follow Voiry, Mom gives me food and Jim answers my questions. That's all. For years I understood all the people said, but I could not speak until they taught me. Upon suspecting Jim of trying to look directly at him. You're looking! Stop looking! Turn your head, you bastard! I cannot stand your eyes. Upon noticing that Jim was reading the Bible, look at the pious old atheist reading the Bible. He will swear in a minute. To Jim, he also said, you are as thick as the head as lump. You are as thick in the head as a lump of cowrie. Not really sure what cowrie is, but I'm gonna find out for you guys just now.
Sound like a mineral?
It's a native plant in New Zealand.
Huh.
Yeah.
So Gef is a worldly fellow.
Yeah, he is. Now, an incident reported by Jim Irving to Harry Price. Gef was quoted as saying, "I was reading a Liverpool newspaper when the animal called out in alarm. I see something. What?" I asked. "A name that makes me quake, makes me shake. I can't find nothing alarming in the paper. Gef Bowles. Have a deco again. Looks in the death. I look and see the obituary of a man named Jeffrey who just died. And in brackets after it says Gef. I had not noticed it before." So that was something that happened as well. And of course, Gef on his investigators are on his investigator. I like Captain McDonald, but not Harry Price, which we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
On Captain McDonald himself, who he supposedly liked, I expect he'll want to take a walk with me next. On Captain McDonald's fashion sense, +4s, Oxford bags. Fucking... to Captain McDonald's, Charlie, Chuck, Charlie, my old sport, clear to the devil if you don't believe. Upon being told by Jim, we are having a dictaphone to record your voice. Who's we? Is it the spook man Harry Price? Why, I won't speak into it. I'll go and smash his windows. I'll drop a brick on him as he lies in bed.
Fucking hell.
Me at the age of 83. Yeah.
This just sounds like you wake up and Jeff's standing there with a knife stabbing you in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Like Chucky or something.
He was asked once to chase away some weasels, and he just said, "I don't want to combat and turmoil with them."
Doesn't want to start the rodent
biggest
war.
Fucking he's the fucking biggest dick in the world. All right. Well, on that note, that was Gef, the 8th wonder of the world. Fucking look into him. It's an awesome fucking an awesome little story.
Do you think he came from a pet cemetery?
Hmm?
Like from the pet cemetery, and that's why he's like all fucked up like this. Someone had a mongoose and killed him, and then like went down on the don't go down there, don't go down the pet cemetery, and then they dug him up and or whatever, and boom, there he is.
I don't think, like, if you want to say that line, don't go down there, don't go down the cemetery, I think Alfred Mancock should take that one. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not.
Alfred's asleep, man. It's too late for him. He's an old man.
All right. Well, so what we talked about, the Discord server.
Yes.
We created a link, which will be added in the show notes every goddamn week on every goddamn platform. And with that link, you can click it, and then you'll be able to visit our Discord channel. You'll be able to talk with us. We got some channels set up. We got the Introduce Yourself channel. We got the @random chat channel. We got the episode suggestions channel. We got the Goodest Boy for if you want to share your Goodest Boy or any other Goodest Boy you know, or fun news stories about animals and shit like that. By the way, for this week, it's just got to be Gef because, like,
well, obviously, yeah.
Yeah. But so if you have your pet as a Goodest Boy, then come to the Discord channel. If you don't have Discord, it's an app you can download from the App Store or from the Windows app fucking thing. I don't know what it is. I am dying.
Discord has just killed Andy.
Sorry. Yeah, I just choked on my own spit. I Joke done worse.
That Jeff is doing that. He's still alive.
Yeah. We got the Flirt With Me channel, which is something I came up with. It's basically for anybody out there. We're still doing good on this channel, and basically it's for anybody that feels lonely and you want to find a girlfriend. And who knows, maybe you'll meet her on the Random Podcast Discord channel. And then, of course, I added a little channel that was NSFW or plus 18. It says minus 18. Who fucking changed that? Did I write that wrong?
I think if you did a
I'll
space,
fix
it'll automatically add
Yeah.
the hyphen.
Yeah, so it's an NSFW channel. If you want to send fucking porn gifs or share your dick pic with the community, then that's the channel. It's locked down for 18 plus. So if you're below 18, you won't get on that shit.
Well, I mean,
Nor
everyone
will be-
on the internet is 18, of course.
Yeah, of course. But what else can you do on the Discord channel? You'll be able to hear us talk every Sunday live in our chat session. You'll be able to talk with us before the session, and you'll probably be able to talk with us after the session and shit like that. We'll get some time going with you guys and
Exactly.
have a fun conversation, or maybe answer some questions for you, or if you have suggestions, you can come on there. You'll be able to see us as well, because every time we record, we use Discord to see Ali's boobies and Alex's boobies and my boobies. So
Yeah.
you'll see a lot of bob and vagin if you join
Basically
that
an
Discord
at
server.
random chatterbait private server.
Yeah.
Why not?
So click the link in that goddamn show note and join us on Discord. Throughout the week, if you tag us and shit, we'll probably reply. Though we can't make any promises because we still got normal jobs to do and shit like that, and family lives and stuff like that. But we will do our best to answer you on the Discord server directly. So come join us and click in the link on the link in the show notes to get on that server, bitches.
Yeah. Join our cult of Jeff.
Yep. And of course, if you want to check out the Instagrams, which isn't that active, but still, sometimes shit happens on there.
Hey, you lazy fucks.
Hey. Shut up. All right. If you want to join the Instagram, it's @random.podcast. That's at.random.podcast. And what's the Twitter there,
On
Alex?
Twitter is AT_randompod. So follow us on there.
There you go.
And yeah. Well, every time a new episode comes out, like a link gets sent there straight away, so you'll know. You know, we try to engage with you, so you can send us DMs of stuff. If you, for whatever reason, don't join our Discord server, you can do it there.
Mm-hmm.
Discord would be better though, and then it's more direct. I think it's more personal. We can jump on and actually have like a conversation.
And wherever you follow us, if you have the chance, like, I'm not saying it does anything, and it really doesn't matter to me. I'm just putting it out there because I know other people do it, and it's a good way for us to get, you know, a sort of idea if we have to go better subjects, if we have to do anything else or change anything, you know, give us a little rating. Go on any app you find us on and give us your honest rating about our show. If you like it, if you don't like it, if you think there's something wrong with it, then keep your fucking face shut, because we don't answer to negative energy.
Or we'll send
Only
Jeff after you.
Vibes. Yeah. We got Jeff on lock.
Yeah.
We got him.
That's what Andy calls his
All right.
penis, just so you know.
I'm calling my penis the Octagon. That's what I call him. The Octagon Doctor.
And while you try to work that one
I was
out,
gonna
I
say something. I was gonna say something, but man, I'm gonna keep my fucking mouth shut.
Please
See,
do.
if you
Please
join the
do.
Discord server, you'll find out after we stop recording what he was going to say. See?
No,
That's the benefit.
I wouldn't even say this. I wouldn't even say this if this wasn't recorded. Because fuck. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna. Yeah. Just. I call my penis Shirley. There you go. That's my penis's name
All right.
from now on. There.
Good to know.
All right, and on that lovely note, thank you so much for listening. We hope to see you or hear you again next week on the next episode of the At Random Podcast. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye, ladies and
conquer
gentlemen.
anyone. I should like to help
Alfred
everyone
Mancock.
if possible.
He's back.
Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that.